Hot diggity dog. It's a bunch of game cats. Check it out, my brain, that. Lucille would like to be your new headset. Ooh, did you feel that tighten up? We best unpucker that chocolate starfish. So up next, we're going to watch Viewer Takeover. I do love a good takeover. Do 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 do.
This is Viewer Takeover, where we film every single Monday night, and then we bring it to YouTube every Tuesday afternoon, midnight, daytime, morning, after times of day. You know, things happen, and sometimes I wake up on time, and sometimes I don't. As always, my name is Brian Paul from this channel right here without Parole, and to my far, far left is AJ from not only PSVR Underground, but this channel as well, and the guy in the middle doing the California Raisins thing? I don't know. No, that's Dave from Dave's Station VR. Wait, what is the California Raisins thing? That's the Macarena. That's something different entirely. But every week on Viewer Takeover, we try to answer your comments. We try to answer your questions. This show is all about you. And the first you that we want to thank is Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who brought us that amazing Viewer Takeover introduction. Walking Dead fans obviously know a little bit more about this. I haven't been a Walking Dead fan since like season 1 or 2 or something. But pretty damn cool nonetheless, right?
Yeah, that was a spot-on Negan costume and impression. Like, he really nailed it, honestly. Yeah. So great job. Mr. Sci-Fi the Game Cat?
Sci-Fi Henry the Game Cat.
That was a pretty amazing thing. I get asked all the time, like, oh, you're from Atlanta. You must love that show. And I'm like, man, you know, it's all right. Like, you know, I didn't appreciate the traffic it caused, but it was cool kind of seeing the places I drive like every day in the thing. But I want to give one more quick shout out to Sci-Fi Henry. Not only is he an awesome dude, but he also posted a bunch of Doctor Who episodes for us on the last Games Cast to go check out before that game comes out. So double shout out to you, sir. Great job. Thank you so much.
Shout out. I want a double shout out. How do I get a double shout out?
You gotta earn it. 2 good things in 1 week.
You gotta earn it.
I've never done one good thing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
It's gonna be a minute. So if you want to introduce next week's Viewer Takeover, I got to tell you right now that the possibility is high that you might be able to do it, because I don't think we have any in the queue. That one had been in the queue for a little bit. Obviously, maybe we should have used it last week, more of a Halloween themed thing, but we get to use it this week. Awesome. Send your Viewer Takeover introduction. Keep it short, simple, sweet, sexy, but mostly short, to withoutparole@gmail.com. Gmail can't really put a lot in that inbox, so it's that. Guys, we also have other people we want to thank. I know we always go on and on about the people we want to thank, but these are the people who keep the channel running. These people down here, these are the Patreon supporters who went to patreon.com/withoutparole.
Games.
There it is. That's the last time you get to do that this year, Dave. It's not spooky time anymore. It's always spooky time around here. And they're giving us $1 or more every single month. Trust me when I say this, guys and gals. We live and die on Patreon support. And so any help that you can give us, we absolutely appreciate. Just $1 to you means a lot to us. So please consider heading over there and supporting the channel. We would love you so much for it.
We love you anyways, but that's not the only people we want to thank now, is it, Brian?
No, we want to thank some non-existent people this week.
Well, it kind of is the people we want to thank for today, because unfortunately we didn't have any Game Cat changes. But just remember, guys, you can support us several different ways, and one of those ways is changing your name on YouTube to something Game Cat, something Game Cat, something Game Cat adjacent, and we will give you a shout out here on this show. So. Brian, what is the purpose of this show? Speaking of,
the purpose of this show is to talk to the viewers, man, and like let them ask comments, ask questions, make comments, and then we respond to them. 2 different ways you can do that. You can leave a comment down below underneath any of our videos, honestly, with a hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word. That way makes it nice and easy for me to find. Or you can join our Discord server. Also, the link is in the description. Make sure you click that and hang out with us anyway. Even if you don't want to ask a Viewer Takeover question, man, Discord is like pretty much hopping all the time.
I think the No Man's Sky high is like wearing off a little bit. People are like kind of taking a break now, and they're like, "Oh my god! Like I forgot I have a life and people I know.
I forgot there's
Family,
other games we can play.
My family probably misses me. I need to tell them where I am."
So you can go to the Discord with the link in the description, and once you're there, there's a viewer takeover channel, so you can leave your question there. I always scroll through it before we start the show, and that's where we get some of our questions from as well. I'll take the first question from Hudson from PSVR Ghouls Cast Live. That was last week's episode of Gamescast Live. He writes, #viewer takeover. Is the PSVR falling behind in regards to blockbuster games? I love my PSVR, still the headset I recommend above all others, but the Rift and Quest have so many amazing VR games released of late. Asgard's Wrath is incredible, sirens on my end. We really need a huge PSVR blockbuster in the next couple of months so it can stay in contention. What are your thoughts on this? Dave, you want to take this one first?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's kind of relative, like PC just got Asgard's Wrath, but for months before that, they could have easily said on their side, hey, we don't have any big blockbusters, but PSVR just got Blood and Truth. And, before that, Astrobot and all that stuff. So the release cycles don't always line up as far as both consoles getting big exclusives at the same time, but within the next 6 months, we're getting Iron Man VR, which is going to be like the definition of a blockbuster VR game. So I don't think there's too much to worry about at the moment. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, and the thing is like you said, Iron Man is going to be the big blockbuster, the game that makes people from the outside who have no idea about PSVR go, what is that? I need a PSVR. That is Iron Man. We just got No Man's Sky. We like you said, we've had a pretty stellar year so far. This is nothing we're used to. There's always been a couple months off where, it's been a little bit like laying low. However, I say that, but this month is pretty stacked. We've got Golem, which is one of the most anticipated games. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but, we're hoping for the best. There's also Last Labyrinth, which is made by a stellar team. Then there's like Demo. We've got Audica tomorrow. Audica is really popular. So in terms of super stellar blockbusters, yes, Iron Man's going to be that big one that we have to wait on. But, in the meantime, don't sleep on touring carts. Don't sleep on Espire 1 eventually maybe getting a release. I know there's going to be kind of ups and downs like there always has been. But really, not only do we have this month to look forward to, next month to look forward to, we've got some huge announcements on the horizon that we can also look forward to as well. So just gonna have to ride it out a little bit, enjoy what we get now. I've got no problem with some indie games or smaller dev team games, and just hope they deliver the best they can. And but I can understand the concern, but really we've usually been the ones that have been getting the games over and over and over.
Yeah, when I totally get it too. But it's easy to look at PlayStation VR right now or be a PlayStation VR gamer right now and say, oh, we don't have a big game coming, like a big exclusive game coming for 3 months. But if you kind of like backpedal a little bit and you look at some big games that came out this year, you say, how were Quest and Vive and Oculus gamers looking at PlayStation VR when we were playing Everybody's Golf, when we were playing Blood and Truth, when we were playing Astrobot? They were like, well, where's our next big exclusive, right? So as Dave kind of said, the schedules don't exactly line up. It's not like we're getting a big exclusive the exact same time they're getting a big exclusive, but we all do get our big exclusives. Now, Sony's got more first-party teams than anybody in the world, and so they've got a ton of dev teams working for them, and a lot of them are smaller teams that we don't hear a lot from on a regular basis. What are they working on, right? Sony could have so many secrets right now. Please tell us. Please. They've got so many secrets right now. Obviously, every single team that Sony has is working on a game. How many of them are working on VR games? And how many of them are kind of holding off and not revealing anything until we get closer to the PlayStation 5 launch? So if they want to hold back a little bit and say, maybe the next year is going to be a little bit on the slow side, but then we're going to really come out of the gate swinging for PlayStation 5, I'm really okay with that because I can't wait to see what that console can do to VR.
I am too. I'm okay with that as well, but I don't want them to push on the brakes too much. I do want them to still show that, there's some stuff to keep us satisfied in the meantime. And I think they will. And of course, we've got like that after the fall game and stuff. But yeah, truth is there's probably a lot of stuff in development for PS5 right now. But we'll get a couple things along the way for sure. Just Iron Man is the only blockbuster that we know about right now. But there's going to be
now.
plenty of great games on other than that. Trust me.
When they officially announce the Horizon project that London Studio is working on, first of all, people are going to flip their shit because that is going to be a blockbuster, great VR experience. Second of all, there's no way it's coming to PC or Quest,
right?
Because that's a Sony studio, top to bottom. So, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot on the horizon.
Yeah. They're just being sneaky.
I guess pun intended. I don't know.
Capital H.
All right, Dave, you want to take away the next question?
Yes, I will. Oh, I accidentally refreshed my browser. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. This one comes from the Discord. Young M Boy on the Discord says, #viewer takeover. If you were to play VR games to raise money for charity for the next 24 hours, no sleep, no nap, but small breaks are okay, which games would you play?
First, before we even start answering this question, I do want to say that it was actually in the cards at one point for Without Parole to be doing an extra live stream this year, but things didn't come together the way I wanted them to, time-wise, everything. It's really important, as far as I'm concerned, to be part of Extra Life, and so I think next year, there's no question about it, no matter what we have to do to make it happen. Maybe we'll work on the timing with the awards show and the Game Cap meetup, and maybe we won't really pile things in so closely together. But that is something important to me. But what games would you want to play for something like that?
There is one game around this time of year, as soon as November hits, that I am always in the mood to play, and that's going to be Skyrim VR. And if I were to do a 24-hour charity live stream, something like that, that would be the game in the next 24 hours. That would be the game that I would play, because I would just go and, of course, I'd be doing some craziness and stuff, but it wouldn't even matter. I want to go fight dragons. It's already cold. I love being in the cold and stuff. And that's just a game that I've still got some of the DLC that I need to explore. So that's actually something I'll be playing anyways really soon. So that would be my pick. And we all know you can play that for, Lord knows, you can play that for way more than 24 hours.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm going to have to go with another sort of obvious one, but No Man's Sky, because that's one that you can play infinitely, endlessly. But also, to keep me going over a 24-hour stream, I'd like to have some people to hang out with. So, have people come through, we'll build a base together for a few hours, and we'll go explore. Maybe I, go off on my own for a little bit. I think that's the kind of game where there's something new around every corner if you're looking for it, and so many different things to do over the course of 24 whole hours. Jesus. That I think that would be a pretty solid one. I think that's what I'd pick.
It's a good one.
So my real answer is the same answer I did for the Desert Island game, which I think was Borderlands 2, because unless you actually put me somewhere and say, Brian, you can't do anything except for this for the next 24 hours, I'm just not going to find time to play that game or any of its DLC. I can't wait to get back into it at some point, but yeah, something like Extra Life would be amazing for that kind of thing. But my other smaller answer would have to be, I need someone to give me some time to finally platinum RE7, because
I knew you were going to say RE7.
Because I want to platinum that game so much, but it's going to take so much time. The fact is I've now beaten it 4 times. I just did my speed run last week, and okay, cool. I'm still unlocking new things, but man, to actually do it with the run that you can only open the item crate 3 times. It's like,
oh no,
that's. I mean, you got to play through on easy and make sure that it just sounds like so much work. And I feel like that might take me 24 hours to actually go down that checklist and check off all those trophies.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my other real answer. Although Borderlands, I think, would be more fun because it's actually, oh hey, I've never seen this part of this game before. Let me go and kill a bunch of things I've never seen.
There's definitely more than 24 hours worth of content in that for sure as well.
Although you could run through the main storyline in just under 24 hours. I think it took me 23-ish to just beat it with a few side quests here and there.
Right.
So you played the whole thing on stream, didn't you?
And then be done.
Yeah, I did. It was separate streams. It wasn't all one big charity stream. But yeah, I played the entire game on stream. And I think it was about 23, 24 hours.
And that was before the aim support.
It was, yes.
Wow.
Still a fun game either way.
It really is. But I think the aim support blows it out of the park. It went from a game that I really liked to a game that I love.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, AJ, you want to take away the last question?
I've got my dude Kyle, PSVR/PCVR from the Discord, and he says #viewer takeover like a pro. and it says, with PlayStation Now, there's game subscription service being $10. Would it be a good idea for Sony to add PSVR games to the service? And if you had to pick, what would be your 3 games for the service?
If you had to pick, what would be your 3 games? So, we got to talk to Kyle about apostrophes.
That was a tough one to read. I kind of just winged it. Love you, great dude. But for me, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? Like, there's no reason not to put some free games, some more incentive for a PSVR owner like myself to want to sign up for that service. And for me, the 3 games, it'd be kind of just at random. I wouldn't want to blow the entire load on PS Now with like Resident Evil 7 and Astrobot and stuff like that. Blood and Truth. However,
okay, we'll talk later.
The 3 that I would pick, the first one would be the prequel to Blood and Truth, which would be PlayStation VR Worlds. This way you get a little demo of a couple things to get some stuff to play. And it was just overall pretty fun experience between Ocean Descent and London Heist. You had great experiences. The other one would be Super Hot, because that maybe is more of a big hitter. That's a kind of a short game, but definitely replayable in many ways and just a lot of fun. A great way to showcase what VR is capable of. And then finally, I'd actually do another kind of bigger one in Moss. And, it's not the super ultra platformer 10 hours long that Astrobot is, but it's a fantastic game and just another great reason to show off VR, to show what it's capable of, to show how amazing this world and characters can be if done right.
All right. So I got to say, first of all, I think Resident Evil 7 would be a great one to have on there because that is a big ticket item, but you can buy it for like $20 now.
I wouldn't complain.
It's like a greatest hit. Remember the greatest hits or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's pretty cheap, so they're not taking a huge loss if they just offer it up to people and say, hey, you sign up for this $10 a month service, and then you can also play it flat screen too, so it gets 2 different groups of users excited about signing up for it. The second one I would say has been free before, but isn't anymore. And even though it's pretty cheap, I think would be an awesome kind of first VR experience if you're going into it, just with these games and you haven't bought anything else yet. Rush of Blood, Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And then I think my third one would be, and this is going to be debatable, but I think because of Firewall's new pricing scheme where you can pay for seasons, I think just to get people in the door with that PS Now subscription would be awesome. And that game always, of course, more players is good. So we haven't had any issues with the declining player base too much. We've had some hiccups, here and there, but I think just get a bunch of people in Firewall because that's one of the best, most mainstream indicators of like, this is how cool VR can be. And a lot of people would be excited about that. So
Brian,
those are my 3.
What do you think you would add PSVR games, and would you go for big hitters, little smaller games, or both?
I mean, I would say that obviously, yeah, this, I don't know what the financials are behind all of this or what it would take to actually get PSVR games as part of PlayStation Now. But yeah, but why not? Like from an outsider perspective, I'd say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would say that the best thing they could do would be to revitalize some dead games and say, hey, you know what, these games don't have a player base, so let's give them to everybody who is part of this subscription service. And so then there's like this new automatic installed player base. They're like, oh, I have this game, I should play it. I'm not saying we should do things like dodgeball guns or Smashbox Arena.
Smashbox Arena, yeah.
Dodgeball guns is my preferred name for it. But something maybe, I don't know, how is Sprint Vector selling these days, right? It would be awesome to have Sprint Vector for free and get a bunch of people, or as part of the subscription, get a bunch of people in there when you don't have to actually get a game together. You just say, I'm going to play Sprint Vector, and there's already people playing. I would say to go along with that, why not do like Honor and Duty D-Day and like Werewolves Within? I think let's revitalize those games a little bit and say, hey, we don't, Firewall doesn't need to be the only game with a consistent player base.
Yeah, it's true.
Kind of 2 birds.
Yeah, I've got no interest in playing anything streaming because even though I have a great connection here, I still have issues. Like it's still
Well, yeah.
it's never going to be perfect, or at least not.
And with
anytime
VR, I mean, if you're playing a flat screen game, it's a pain in the ass, and you're like, oh, screw this. But if you're playing VR and it like has latency issues and it's juddering and stuff, that can make you actually sick. So they would have to be all download only.
Right.
I would say.
All the games I tried to play did not work when over the streaming, and I have business class internet, so yeah, would have to download them.
Yeah.
I think that's it for another episode of Viewer Takeover. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me and answering some questions. GameCats, make sure you change your name to GameCat. Put hashtag GameCat in the comments if you change your name so we can find you next week. Also, make sure you put hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word, in the comments, or join our Discord and go to the Viewer Takeover channel and leave your question or comment there. We'll definitely find it, I promise you. Also, send your Viewer Takeover intro to withoutparole@gmail.com. And that's kind of it. Thank you guys. Oops, I just dropped something. Everything's fine. I should have pretended that nothing happened. All right. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cats. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Everybody shake it out.
Shake it out. Shake it out. Just like they used to say in elementary school.
Serious.